April 22, 1915, near the town of Ypres, Belgium. What you are about to hear is based on documented accounts from soldiers who were present during the Second Battle of Ypres, one of the first large-scale chemical attacks ever deployed in modern warfare, recorded in military reports, letters sent home, and survivor testimonies from the First World War. At that moment in history, no soldier standing in those trenches fully understood what was about to unfold. There were no instructions, no protective equipment capable of handling what was coming, and no precedent for a weapon that could silently turn the air itself into something that would hunt you down, enter your body, and destroy you from the inside without a single bullet being fired. You have been standing in the trench for so long that your body no longer distinguishes between minutes and hours. Time has stretched into something shapeless, something that exists only in the repetition of small discomforts. The weight of your uniform pressing against your shoulders, the damp cold settling into your bones, the constant suffocating presence of mud that clings to your boots and refuses to let go. Every movement feels heavier than the last, as if the ground beneath you is not just supporting your weight, but actively resisting you, pulling you down, keeping you exactly where you are. You shift your footing slightly, trying to relieve the pressure, but it makes no difference. Nothing here ever does. Your hands rest along the edge of the trench, fingers coated in dirt, nails filled with the residue of a place that has long stopped resembling anything natural. They feel stiff, slow to respond, not just from the cold, but from the constant state of tension your body has been trapped in. You don't notice it at first, how tightly you've been holding yourself, how your muscles have been locked in anticipation of something that never quite arrives. Because that's what war has become here. Not just action, not just movement, but waiting. Endless waiting, stretched between moments of chaos, until the silence itself begins to feel heavier than the violence. And right now, it is silent. Not the kind of silence that brings relief, not the quiet that follows something ending. This is different. This is a silence that feels wrong, as if something has been removed from the world that should still be there. No distant gunfire, no echo of artillery, no shouted commands carried through the air. Just the wind, moving slowly across the battlefield, brushing against the broken landscape ahead of you. It is steady, almost gentle, but instead of calming you, it makes something inside your chest tighten, because this isn't how it's supposed to be. You raise your head carefully, slowly lifting your eyes above the edge of the trench. The movement is instinctive, cautious, shaped by days, weeks of knowing that exposing too much of yourself can end everything in an instant. But there is nothing there, no immediate threat, no movement waiting to punish you for looking. Just the battlefield stretching outward, empty and still, as if it has been abandoned. The ground ahead is uneven, scarred by previous explosions, scattered with debris that has lost its meaning. Pieces of equipment, fragments of wood, remnants of something that once had structure, but now exists only as part of the terrain. It feels less like a place where something is happening, and more like a place where something already happened and left nothing behind. You stare at it, trying to make sense of what you're seeing, or rather, what you're not seeing, because the absence of movement begins to feel louder the longer you look at it. Your mind searches for something familiar, something that can explain the quiet, but there is nothing to hold on to. And that's when you hear it. Do you see that? The voice comes from beside you, low and uncertain, as if the person speaking isn't entirely sure they should be saying anything at all. It cuts through the silence in a way that makes everything feel sharper, more focused. You turn your head slightly, following the direction of their gaze, narrowing your eyes as you look out across the same empty stretch of land. At first, you don't see anything, just the same broken ground, the same stillness. But then, slowly, something begins to take shape. It is subtle at first, so subtle that you almost convince yourself it isn't there. A shift in the air, a faint distortion along the horizon, and then, gradually, it becomes clearer. Something moving. It looks like fog, but not the kind you've seen before. This is different. It has color, a faint, unnatural green that stands out against the gray and brown of everything else. It moves low to the ground, spreading outward in a slow, deliberate motion, as if it is following a path that only it understands. There is no sound accompanying it, no explosion that explains its presence, no fire, no debris, just that cloud expanding, advancing, growing closer with each passing second. You feel your body shift slightly, not in panic, not yet, but in uncertainty, because nothing about this fits into the patterns you've learned. War, as brutal as it is, has rules. You hear artillery before it lands. You see movement before an attack. There is always something that prepares you, something that gives you a moment to react.
But this arrives without warning. There is a pause in the trench, a shared hesitation that spreads from one soldier to another. No one speaks, no one moves, because no one knows what they're looking at. And then, somewhere not too far away, a sound breaks through the silence. Coughing. It is sharp, sudden, and out of place. You turn toward it instinctively, your focus snapping away from the cloud and toward the source. A soldier has climbed out of the trench. You don't know why. Maybe curiosity, maybe confusion, maybe the same instinct that made you look up in the first place, trying to understand something that doesn't make sense. He takes a few steps forward into the open field, slowly, carefully, as if approaching it will somehow make it clearer. For a moment, nothing happens. And then, his body reacts. It is immediate, violent. His posture changes in an instant, his hands rising to his throat as if something has grabbed hold of him from the inside. He stops moving forward, drops to his knees. His fingers press against his neck, tightening, clawing, trying to force something away that isn't visible. The coughing spreads, not just from him, from others. One after another, the sound begins to multiply, filling the air in a way that replaces the silence with something far worse. It becomes louder, harsher, turning into choking, gasping attempts to breathe. And that's when you feel it. The air changes.
You don't see the exact moment it reaches you, but your body knows. The first breath you take after it arrives is wrong. It burns. Not like cold air, not like smoke. Something sharper, deeper, as if it is reaching into your lungs and scraping against them from the inside. Your chest tightens immediately, every instinct in your body reacting to something it doesn't understand. You try to take another breath. It hurts more. Your eyes begin to sting, then burn, your vision blurring as tears form uncontrollably. Around you, the trench is no longer still. It is chaos. Men are trying to move, trying to escape, but there's nowhere to go. Some attempt to climb out only to collapse moments later. Others fall where they stand, their bodies unable to process what is happening fast enough to respond. There are no orders, no commands, no one shouting directions, because no one knows what to do. The structure of everything you've relied on, the discipline, the chain of command, the understanding of how to survive, breaks apart in seconds. This is not something you can fight, not something you can see. There is no enemy to aim at, no direction to run toward that offers safety. Just the air, everywhere, inside you. Inside you. Your body reacts before your mind can catch up. You drop lower, pressing yourself against the ground, instinctively trying to get beneath it, as if distance from the air will somehow protect you. But it doesn't. The burning intensifies. Every breath becomes a struggle, your lungs fighting against something they were never meant to endure. The sounds around you are overwhelming now. Coughing, choking, voices breaking apart before they can form words. Some are screaming, others are silent, already beyond the point where sound is possible. Your vision narrows, darkening at the edges as your focus collapses inward. The world becomes smaller, less defined, as if everything is being pulled away from you piece by piece. The green cloud fills everything now, erasing what little clarity remained. And then, slowly, the sounds begin to fade. Not because they stop, but because you can no longer hear them clearly. The battlefield dissolves. The trench disappears. The men around you become nothing more than shapes, then shadows, then nothing at all. The last thing you are aware of is not the sight of an enemy, not the sound of gunfire or explosions, but the sound of voices, hundreds of them, fading at the same time. What happened that day would change warfare forever. The use of chlorine gas at Ypres marked the beginning of a new kind of weapon, one that did not rely on precision or aim or even direct confrontation. It turned the environment itself into a threat, something inescapable, something that could reach you no matter where you stood. For the soldiers who survived, the memory did not fade, because from that moment on, war was no longer just something that happened around them. It was something that could enter them, something they could breathe, and something they would never forget.